Here's what nobody tells you about the World Cup ball this summer. Adidas hid a computer inside it, handed it to professional players, and dared them to find the difference. They struck it as hard as they could, and couldn't. That's the result that should stop you cold. Not the sensor itself. The fact that it's invisible to the people whose entire job is feeling a ball. The ball at this summer's World Cup is the Adidas Trionda, built with a German firm called KINEXON. Inside it sits an instrument firing 500 times a second, measuring acceleration, rotation, every twist through the air. And here's the problem nobody puts in the launch video. A sensor has mass, and mass inside a sphere wants to sit somewhere. The moment it shifts under impact, your balanced ball becomes a knuckleball with a mind of its own. And a ball that flutters unpredictably is a scandal, not a product. So how do you bury a computer in the middle of a kicked object without the players ever knowing it's there? You suspend it. A system inside the ball holds that sensor dead center, opposite the valve, isolated from every strike. Think of a ship's compass, gimbaled so the sea heaves and the needle still reads true. Except here the sea is a 40-mile-an-hour shot, and the needle cannot drift a millimeter. That suspension is the actual product, the part that took years. The trick is making it weightless to the foot. If you ship hardware, you know this tax. Every gram you add, you pay for somewhere. Balance, battery, feel. The Trionda's whole design exists to hide that bill from the one person who'd notice it. Adidas calls the technology unnoticeable. I'd call it the invisibility tax. The engineering you do specifically so the user never feels what you added. And it feeds the system I walked through last episode. The offside cameras run at 50 frames a second. This ball runs at 500. When a foot touches it, the sensor spikes. That's the kick point, timed to the millisecond, fused with the camera picture to draw the offside line. The ball isn't a gadget bolted onto the broadcast. It's the clock the whole stadium syncs to. It runs about 6 hours on a single charge, a full match plus extra time. And they validate it with a robot leg that strikes harder than any human alive, thousands of times, because the failure they fear isn't the sensor dying, it's the sensor being felt. One player saying, "This ball moves wrong," and the program is finished. Now, you could call this overkill, a chip, a suspension rig, a robot striker, all to shave seconds off a call. Fair. But that misreads what they bought. Not speed, a measurement that survives contact with people who'd feel the slightest flaw. Now sit with what that discipline implies. Adidas did not lead with the technology. Their proudest marketing line, "The ball does not affect performance whatsoever." Read that again. A hardware company's flagship claim is that you cannot tell their hardware exists. The win condition was absence, but here's the part they won't say out loud. Here, the instinct to show off the chip is the failure mode. Because the moment a player adapts to the ball, the data stops describing football. It describes an athlete reacting to your sensor. You didn't measure the game, you changed it, then measured the change. So here's my read, and I'll put a date on it. Within 18 months, the instrumented ball stops being a showpiece and becomes the floor, wired into boots, shin guards, the pitch lines, vanishing into gear nobody thinks about. The companies that win the sensor decade won't own the loudest chip. They'll own the one you forget is measuring you. And the first product that makes you feel the sensor it added, that's the day the invisibility tax comes due. The best instrumentation disappears. The moment you notice it measuring you, it's built wrong. The headline is the ball that talks to the cameras. The achievement is the players who swear it's just a ball.